Today, we're reviewing Borderlands for the Xbox 360, PC, and PC. Another multi-platformer. This game was developed by Gearbox. It's not too much of a widely publicized developer, but this game was so highly anticipated. It was announced at E3 last year, 2009, and it was so highly anticipated. Everybody saw it and thought how artistic, but my first impression of the game was a ridiculous kid game for adults, pretty much. I mean, the graphics didn't make me want to get the game. However, we'll get into that later. The game, you start off, well, you don't start off, you are in the place for the entire game on a desert-like planet known as Pandora. It's very, 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 very huge, very massive. So, I mean, there's vehicles and there's fast travel. Fast travel is very handy. However, you have to find a vehicle station in order to fast travel. In the game, there are 4 different classes. There is the Hunter class, which is a long-range sniper sort of class. The Soldier class, which is pretty much like a typical first-person shooter guy. He has rifles and stuff, action rifles, assault rifles. Sorry, this isn't Halo. Berserker, he's a close-range kind of guy. He's pretty annoying. He screams when he punches people. He's like, rah, rah. Hated that. And there's a Siren class, which is a stealthy rogue class. The game is heavily based on shooting and looting. All you do is shoot, and it's a first-person shooter mixed with RPG elements. It's like Fallout 3, pretty much. There's an XP system where you kill enemies, and there's assisting points when you play online multiplayer. When you kill larger enemies, you get a larger amount of XP. Depending on the difficulty of the enemies, you also get more XP. There's toilets, there's cabinets, there's chests, there's everything full of stuff for you to loot. You get a lot of money from looting. You get weapons, you get upgrades, elemental upgrades, but sometimes you'll get this great feeling that you're going to open something good, and there'll be a great weapon in there. Some of them, however, you can't use because you have to be a certain rank and require certain abilities. Which is also a downside, because if you have friends that are on their second playthrough and they have an awesome weapon and they try to give it to you, it also requires you to be a higher level, usually 50, considering how far they are in their second playthrough. The story is mapped out almost like a Fallout 3 kind of thing. You do quests. You go and accept the quest. You can accept as many as you want at a time. There's a bunch of side quests. You get achievements for them. This is one of the games that I have 1,000 gamer score in, so I give this game, we'll get into that later, God. Fallout style MMO quest thing, you go, you do the quest. It'll be as simple as to go and kill this guy, or to go and clear out this valley of enemies, or to go find a bunch of cheese whiskers. I don't even know what those are, but stuff. There's so many guns. The trailer even says 87 bazillion guns. Well, yeah, it's a little over-exaggerated, but not heavily exaggerated. There are so many guns. Every time you open a chest, the chances of you finding the same gun are really, really close to none. And if you join a random game, chances are you're not going to find anybody that has the same exact gun as you, considering you have elemental type upgrades, different things that you can do for your guns, different ammo extensions. Towards the end of the game, some infinite ammo weapons. They're alien weapons. They're a little bit slower, but they're really good. They have some awesome explosion guns. The vehicles have relatively good controls. They're not anything to complain about, really. I've seen better games with better controls. However, this one doesn't have that bad controls. The leveling up in this game is perfect. Most not MMOs, massive multiplayer online, no RPGs, duh. Most RPGs require you to set skills and, lay out your skill points for your level ups and stuff. However, this game, you get XP, you have the little bar at the bottom of the screen, and you rank up. It's really easy to level up. I mean, you can just grind yourself to a 50 in about a day. Or you can have a buddy take you to their second playthrough, because the enemies increase tenfold. Or not tenfold, but pretty good fold. And you don't really get anything. I mean, the only thing that happens is you get better guns, but the guns are already amazing, so do you really need better guns? Unless you decide to play another playthrough. The story is the exact same, no difference, just more guns, whatever. I mean, it's not really that cool. Third playthrough gets even more difficult, and even better guns with better upgrades that are worth way more money. Now, if you plan on playing this game over and over and over and over and over, then I recommend you do all 3 playthroughs so you can be ultimately powerful and have ultimate weapons. However, if you're the kind of person who's a casual gamer and just wants to pick it up, play it once, beat it, have an honest opinion on it, then it's not necessary to beat the game 3 times because you're not getting anything different, such as RPGs like Dragon Age, where you actually do get something different. The graphics, like I said before, I was pretty turned off by the graphics by looking at tree views. It's a new one, tree views, trailers and previews. I was pretty turned off by looking at tree views of the game, considering it looked just like a little cartoon kids game. But when I actually got the game, put in my Xbox, I was astounded. I almost took a dump on myself. The graphics really work for this game. They're cartoony, but they're so good. The physics, oh my gosh, the physics with these graphics, it's like the perfect combination. You couldn't ask for anything better. This game is a really, 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 really good game, and the multiplayer you can do, it's the exact same. However, there's 4 players tops, the cap, that's the cap. You can have 4 people in one multiplayer game. You guys can spread out whatever you want. You can talk and be all spread out. I'm not sure you can do more than one mission at the same time, which would be helpful, but no. Alright, it's the exact same, but the difficulty increases with every person that joins. So you have 4 people, it's going to be a buttload of hardness. Oh, that sounded gay. You go on your 3rd playthrough with 4 people, it's going to be so hard. That sounds really gay too. It's going to be really difficult. With the multiplayer, here we go. Here's the big butt. God, all this innuendo. There's no character there's character customization, but it's not at any particular point where you can differentiate people by just looking at them from more than a couple feet away. The only thing you can do is pretty much change the color of your shirt. The only way you're going to be able to tell somebody apart from another person in one game is their shirt, or their gun, or their name. I mean, the name, duh, but seriously, it's a little boring if you're playing with 3 other berserkers. It's going to look really crappy and really, really lame. But that's not too much of a problem because it's a first-person shooter, so you're not even going to see yourself anyway. Talk about the components that I base the games off of. The game difficulty, I give it a 3 out of 10. It's really on the lower spectrum of the most difficult games I've played. I sat there. Yeah, I did this. I sat there for 3 days straight and beat the game. 2 days later, I got every achievement. So the achievement difficulty, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It's really, really a good game for achievement hunters. It's totally possible to 1,000 this out in under a week. And it's really rewarding because everything you beat, you get a lot of gamer score. It's just the kind of game that brings you back to the old meaning of achievements, not to stress you out and make you rip your controller in half, even though that's not possible to rip it in half. The graphics are amazing. I give it a 10 out of 10 because it's so original and just so out of this world and works so well. It couldn't be anything less. The sound, I give the sounds an 8 out of 10. There's so many different kinds of monsters, and they all make their own sounds. You get attacked, there's sounds. The vehicles are, I mean, considering they're a tad bit futuristic, you would think that they would have different sounds for the 2 different vehicles. Oh, a big whopping 2 different kinds of vehicles in the game, which there isn't. But it's not anything to really cry about because the game's so good. So my overall score for this game, I give it a 10 out of 10. The story, yeah, you gotta pay attention. I mean, it's the game. If you're a pro gamer, just kidding. No, if you play games fast, you're gonna rush this game. and you're not going to pay attention to the story very much. So make sure you pay attention. Either way, 10 out of 10. Buy the game. It's worth every penny. Great game. Thanks for watching, guys. Join us next time when we do a review of Dragon Age Origins. Alright, bye.